Hey there, I'm Patrick Franco, and today we're gonna look at Gomukhasana, which is cow-faced pose. This is a seated pose that intertwines both the legs and the arms. It strengthens the muscles of the outer hips, the hip stabilizing muscles. It strengthens the muscles of the abdomen, the upper back and spinal muscles, and of course, the shoulders and arms. This pose stretches the muscles of the calves. It stretches the muscles of the outer legs. It stretches the spinal muscles and abdominal muscles. So we're gonna go ahead and get started now. And I am actually gonna sit up on a block. So I'm gonna take my legs in front of me. I'm gonna place this block down and I will start seated on the block with my legs in front of me. And the reason is, with most seated poses, having a little bit of elevation of the hips just makes the pose more accessible. So I'm gonna start with the legs first. I'm gonna take one leg underneath my bent leg. And because I am sitting on the block, you can see my foot is on the outer edge of that block. I'm trying to get it across as best as possible. The knee that I bent first, we really want it lined up with the midline. So that means I have to bring my thigh further across so it lines up with my pubic bone and my belly button. And then the leg that is still in front, now I'm gonna step it over and cross that bottom bent leg. But that's not all. I'm trying to line up my top knee with my bottom knee with my midline. And depending on how much restriction you might have in your outer hips or outer legs will kind of signify how far you're gonna get this top leg across your bottom thigh. So in order to make that happen, I'm gonna lift my top leg and I'm gonna try, just like I did with my bottom leg, to bring that knee to the midline as best as possible, lining up my knees. And I might assist my thigh bones a little bit by drawing them in. Now this top foot is flexed right now. If possible, you also want this top foot moving back just like that bottom foot. And for me, that's gonna be a little bit more challenging, but I made it happen a little bit. Now, this is the position of the lower half of the body. The outer hips, the legs intertwine, and then we're trying to sit up as best we can. Now, you also might notice that I have a strap here with me. That's because the second half of the shape is this arm position that opens the chest, the armpits, and the upper back. So the leg that is over, this arm, so this is my right leg over, this arm is gonna be bent down. The leg that is underneath this arm is going to be reaching up. So I'm gonna use a strap and I'm going to lay it on the shoulder of the top leg. And I'm gonna take my arm out, thumb down, wrap it around my back, and find the tail of that strap. From here, I will lift the opposite arm up. So the arm that goes up, again, is the arm that is the leg underneath. I bend that arm, I clasp the other end of the strap. And now I will walk my hands towards each other if they don't clasp. If they clasp here, guess what? You don't need the strap. So as this is happening, the hip of the top leg needs to relax down, and then the armpit, tricep, and elbow of the top arm needs to lift up. And then we'll release and unwind. And then we could, hypothetically, do the other side. So I'm gonna unwrap my legs for a moment here. Now, one thing that comes up in this pose is, because it's complex, a lower body shape and an upper body shape, quite often we work on this either just the lower body with the legs or just the upper body with the arms. So what that might look like is, if I was just working on the legs, I would slide one leg under, get it towards the midline, and then the top leg, I want to line up this knee with the bottom knee. I'll help it across as best as I can, get this foot back. And so if you can't do or struggling with the lower part and the upper part together, we can just isolate each position and work on them separately. So again, this lower half of the body opens up the outer hips, the outer legs, and then you can work on sitting up nice and tall. And this is a great way to get these legs, calves, outer hips, outer thighs really to open up. So that's the lower half. I'm going to unwrap my legs and sit in a normal, comfortable position, cross-legged position. You can also isolate the upper part of the shape, the arms. And we do this standing, other seated postures. We do this shape called Gomukhasana arms in many different ways. So I'm just doing it now with a simple cross-legged shape because this shape is more comfortable than the Gomukhasana legs. So again, one arm goes out, thumb down, we bend the elbow, we bring it in, that hand goes up the back. The other arm reaches up, my eyes stay lifted, I bend the top arm, and then if I'm using a strap, I walk my hands towards each other, or I clasp my hands. The arm that's lifted, that tricep and elbow move in towards the ear and then back, so that the armpit and side chest really open up. The arm that's bent down and across the back, that upper arm also needs to roll back, and I'm trying to lift that side of my chest as well. So I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can see the position of the arms and the hands from behind. So I'm going to, again, take the strap on the shoulder. One arm will go out, turn down, and the elbow bends. Now it comes across my low back first, but I'm going to try to walk it up as high as I can and hold the strap. The other arm will lift up, and then I'll bend that elbow and find the other end of the strap. Now, if your hands do not clasp, you just walk your hands towards each other on the strap. If your hands clasp, well, then you do not need the strap. But your hands are there to keep your upper back to move in so that your chest can lift up. All right. There you have it. Gomukhasana, which is a complex seated pose of an intertwining of the legs coupled with a big shoulder chest opener. You can do it together as one pose, but quite often we separate it out, either the lower body or the upper body. All right, thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the mat again next time.